Good evening, everybody. How are we doing today? Yeah, good. You're out there in the gloom, in this wonderful, subdued blue lighting. We're going to have some fun tonight. We've got some great things to celebrate. Youth Connect Southwest is an amazing organisation, and we will find out a little bit more about why that's amazing as we go through the evening. My name's Dom Chambers. Occasionally you might hear me on the radio, up and down the country, podcaster, but really my daytime job is running the Summer Valley Education Trust, and we partner Youth Connect Southwest, and particularly around a project which we're going to hear more about tonight, which we call Street to Studio, which is run by Flash, and that produces some amazing talents and gives people wonderful opportunities. So we'll find out more about that and all the other awards this evening, but this great organisation has a great leader, and I'm going to introduce her to you now. Here's Tracy.
Well, thanks everybody for coming tonight. So Youth Connect Southwest has had an amazing 2 years of life. We became a new charity on the 4th of November 2019 in National Youth Work Week. So this week is our second anniversary. This year, the theme for National Youth Work Week is Champions of Youth Work. And as part of National Youth Work Week, we have had daily interviews with our youth workers. What these interviews show is youth workers' passion and belief in young people and the work that they're doing. And I know all our staff and all our programmes feel the same, that passion for making an impact in young people's lives. Services for young people have been reducing nationally in some areas. Youth services have completely disappeared. We knew 2 years ago that if we didn't do something to change this direction of travel, young people in the Bath and North and Somerset area would have hardly any youth services left. I'm proud of everything we have achieved. This includes over 20 weekly youth work sessions across the Baines area, 2 alternative education programmes for 30 young people, early help for 300 young people each year included targeted youth work, employment support for young people out of work and training, careers-focused intervention in schools for young people needing additional support, holiday activity programmes, and finally Southside Youth and Community Centre, where we are today, which offers our local residents somewhere accessible to go with a cafe, soft play, as well as a developing community events programme. All of this would not be possible without our amazing staff on the front line and all the administrators and support staff, so I'd like to thank you. Now on to the young people. We've had 28 young people nominated for this year's awards, and reading their stories was a really moving experience. Agreeing on 8 finalists to receive awards was a challenge. All the young people nominated deserve to be recognised for their achievements and the positive changes they've made in their lives. And I hope you enjoy tonight and really appreciate all that young people have achieved. So I'd like to hand back to Dom. Thank you.
Great, we've got some wonderful awards to get to. A little bit later we're going to have a musical performance as well, so plenty to look forward to and to come. On to our first award. This is, we'll have a video in a second, but this is somebody who's had some challenges around the experience of being at school, and like so many things, I think we're going to see triumphing over adversity. So, shall we have our first video, which is Lewis.
Lewis came to our service after what could be described as quite a turbulent school experience. He'd gone from mainstream to sort of alternative provision, and so then he was directed to us because he wasn't somebody who would be able to engage with the traditional school or college day. So I worked with Lewis, lots of one-to-ones, lots of playing pool, just getting that relationship going. From there, he was able to speak to me more openly about what was going on in his life, what was working, what wasn't working. The main thing for Lewis was he was really keen to just get loads of work experience and basically get a job. And so that's what we did. He was doing work experience at a K9 unit, at farms, basically whatever we sort of offered to Lewis, he'd be like, yep, I'll give that a go. He did a karting course, He was always doing loads of fitness, loads of boxing here. He was our resident go-to yes man. So he was a great energy on the course. And so yeah, I worked with him, and eventually we then got him to a point where he was ready to go out working. We got Lewis signed up to a local job agency, and from there they got him working with the Cambridge Recycling team. And now he's moved from there onto the street cleansers team in Bath City Centre. I nominated Lewis because of all his hard work. He's come so far. He's a typical young person with ADHD, so very excitable, a little bit all over the place, but actually he manages to work through that and works really, really hard every day. He gets up, he's in work every day for 6 o'clock in the morning, which would be difficult for anyone, especially someone like him. And so I'm really proud of how far he's come and how well he's engaged with our services throughout the whole time he's been with us.
Congratulations to Lewis. On behalf of Learning for Work, I'd like to present you this award for all that you've achieved. Well done.
Well, let's hear it for Lewis there. And unfortunately Lewis isn't here, but I think there's Millie here.
I am here, yeah.
Good, come up and pick up the award for him. Thank you so much. Our next award goes to a young person who's had a lot to deal with as a young person, but has really engaged with the programmes here, and that's good to see. Let's find out a little bit about our second winner, who's Rosie.
Okay, so Rosie and I worked together from March to July this year. It was lockdown, but it was when the schools had gone back. Rosie needed support quite quickly, but specialist services weren't available. So Rivlington School referred her. We worked together to try and find the best resources that would support her and to help her access the services that she needed. So we kind of together developed our own support package. And I nominated Rosie because I just think she's incredible. She's really determined to move forward. She really embraced the work, and she's amazing, and she totally deserves it.
I think Rosie's with us. Is Rosie with us? There we go, do come up. You manage the steps. Well done. Right, let's have our third award. This has been Kieran, who's been working with Becky to improve his mental health and growing in confidence and exploring his interests and has a better future for it. Let's find out a little bit more about that. Here's Kieran's video.
I nominated Kieran because when I met him, his mental health was at a low point. We worked together to improve this through walking and talking. Kieran was always up for meeting, even in the freezing cold and rain during lockdown. I respect Kieran for his honesty and willingness to talk to me about his feelings. Kieran has been successful in gaining Young Inspector job with Youth Connect South West. I believe he has much to offer this role and look forward to hearing about his personal development and his contribution to the local community and services.
Well, that was a marvellous bit of timing. So, Kieran, just as you make yourself comfortable, perhaps you'd like to get back up and come up on stage and pick up your award from Tracy. Kieran, Great. And now a short break in our awards as we introduce a video about Learning for Work, which is the alternative education programme, which is a finalist as a Children and Young People Now award under the, bear with me, Learning Award category. Winners will be announced on this on the 25th of November. Let's enjoy the film now.
So Learning for Work is part of our alternative education provision at Youth Connect South West. We have the Learning for Work programme and the Partnership for Learning programme. Learning for Work is our sort of original programme. It's quite big now, so we've got 24 students and it seems to be growing year on year. The programme kind of came about because there was a need that we identified for young people that couldn't attend mainstream college. So often these young people didn't want to be in a college setting, didn't want to be around lots of other young people, and needed a more flexible, bespoke approach to education. So we put together Learning for Work, which is really focused on them having a really strong relationship with their key worker. The key worker starts by building a really supportive relationship with the young people, and the key worker then puts together a timetable. So each young person's timetable looks different and can look different week on week depending on what's going on and what they need to do. A lot of the success, I think, is because of that supportive relationship they have with their key worker. That enables them to build confidence and to attend sessions, to attend work experience, and really over a year you see the young people going from strength to strength. Often when they join us, they don't want to be around any other students, don't want to go into group settings, don't want to travel, and by the end of the programme we've seen a lot of progress and a lot of our young people are now moving on into mainstream college.
All of our operations start and finish at the front door ordinarily, but what's fantastic about Youth Connect is you're absolutely out there in the community at Southside, meeting people whether it may be in their homes or at McDonald's or wherever. So that's the kind of side to the work that we just don't do. So we're really very happy to be in partnership. So we bring different things to the programme. Youth Connect brings all of its engagement work with the young people and off-site mostly, because these young people don't come into college. What we bring is the English and Maths teaching, perhaps speech and language therapy. We run the annual reviews for learners with an EHCP. So it's a real partnership that seems to work.
So on the Learning for Work course, what we do is we build a bespoke timetable with that young person, for that young person. So for some of our young people, we might have to spend quite a lot of time at the beginning just going for walks, having one-to-ones with them, building up a relationship. Some of them are really keen to come in straight away, do some English and Maths. We do lots of things, obviously the clue is in the name, Learning for Work, so we do lots of things around employment, employability, building CVs, getting them work experience, with the overall aim being for them to then go either into college or into a job.
It's not like a main college where you come in, do work and go home. We more do activities, fun activities. It's quite fun, to be honest, because I'm more of an active person. I won't be able to sit down all day just do work, so they help us for us. And there's a nice cafe upstairs where we have our lunch. Everyone's friendly as well. Always try helping. It's wicked. We've done karting projects where we take apart go-karts and then rebuild it. Then we go petrol go-karting. And then coming up, I'm doing a vehicle maintenance one where we take apart a vehicle and get CVT and stuff like that out of it. I've done work experience here with cleaning and working in the cafe upstairs, which was fun. It was alright, to be honest, but other than that, there's everything really. Better than the mainstream college, I could say that. Support is amazing, because I don't think there'd be a day, if I mentioned that I'm upset or something, straight away sat down in a room, they'd talk through it, help us through it. And it won't just be like one day help, they'll be helping us for a few months, and it's wicked.
Well, how fantastic is that? Our last speaker, I think they're just really summing that up. Can forget, particularly those of us who've been at work for a few years, just how nerve-wracking going into the working world can be. And it's wonderful to know this environment where people can come a happy and sort of safe place, non-prejudicial. That's the crucial thing. You're not going to get laughed at. That's so important. You know, with all my work with young people, the biggest fear, and frankly it was the same when I was a teenager, I was being laughed at, being alienated by your peers. So I love that film. It's great to see. Shall we move on with our awards then? Let's hear about Toby. Toby's worked with engagement worker Calvin. Unfortunately, can't be with us tonight, but it's going to be watching the live stream. Quick turnaround, wave to the live stream. Welcome everybody. Come on, do it. That's it. Well done. And now Toby's gone from being isolated, out of education, and struggling with mental health challenges, to attending college, using public transport and engaging with people much more confidently. So shall we enjoy Toby's film?
I've nominated Toby here on because I just can't believe the amount of resilience, motivation, determination that he's shown over this last year. Over a year ago when we were in some strict restrictions, it was very difficult to engage obviously, but with Mum and with Dad as well, we tried our best to try and engage, and we did to some degree. Toby wasn't really going out much of the house, but we had the dog. He's got a dog, 14 years old, Rosie, who we took out for walks, and we talked, and we managed to get some sort of like exercise together, all of us. And we just gradually built up some sort of relationship, and Toby grew in confidence, and over the year he's become more confident, more resilient, more motivated and determined, I believe, to the point where he wasn't going out of his room about a year ago, and now he's actually enrolled at college, and he's going to college, and he's using public transport, and he's going into shops, and he's talking to people that he's never met before, which would have been incredibly difficult over a year or 2 years ago. And this is a lad that hasn't been in any educational training or any formal sort of situation like that for about 3 or 4 years. So Toby and Mum and Dad, I just take my hat off to all of you. Thank you so much for all the experience that I've had with you as well. It's been incredibly fulfilling for me. And I just want to wish Toby all the best, because he deserves an award. He's absolutely shown courage, resilience, determination, and I can't praise you enough, Toby, for what you've been through and what you've come out at the other end as, which is a young man on his way into the future, hopefully with good prospects for a job and a meaningful sort of life in the future, mate. So all I can say is well done to you, Toby, and I take my hat off to you, and all the very best.
Well, Toby's not here tonight, so we're going to make sure that he gets his award at a later point. Now, in a few minutes' time, we're going to have a musical performance from Lewis, so hopefully you're looking forward to that. I had a quick chat with Lewis earlier, so I'm looking forward to it anyway. Let's have another award on the way to that. You can tell I do radio, so I use phrases like on the way. Let's hear about Courtney. Now, Courtney's worked with Youth Connect engagement worker Steph, and she felt that life was getting a little bit more complicated. She also took part in the Palace of Lockdown art project on Zoom, and what I like about that is clearly a good idea, that project, but she was supporting others in the virtual group. So let's hear from Courtney now about Courtney.
Okay, so I started working with Courtney. She was referred, she'd worked with Open Access, but during the lockdown she was really isolated. She's a young carer and she supports her mum and her stepdad to look after her siblings. All of her siblings have additional needs. So she was isolating with the family so that she reduced the risk of any of them getting COVID. But she was having to deal with her own mental health, bereavements and some family issues, and needed someone to talk to. So we, a testament to her resilience, as we met in freezing cold parks in the height of winter, and yeah, it was just a space for her to talk really, but she's She's so amazing. She's so well regarded by her peers. She's always there to support other people. She's been involved in groups and she's just got a great presence, and I thought she deserved the nomination, and I'm really glad she's won.
Great, can we welcome Courtney onto the stage? Great, we're going to take a pause in our awards now, and let's enjoy one of the successes coming. Everyone's a success on Street to Studio. It's a fantastic project. And can I have a round of applause for Flash, who's lurking at the back? And what an amazing guy he is. Flash has been engaging young people for years. And giving them opportunities they wouldn't have had otherwise, and it's all because, and he's talked to me about this, it's all because he wanted to set up a range of opportunities for young people that he didn't have when he was a young person. That is a fine inspiration and motivation. So, shall we hear Lewis performing now? Is that a good idea? Here he is, welcome him.
CVs, but I'm telling you none of it's clueless. Way better than me, you smoking buddy, I'm telling you none of it worth it. Saying that you're smoking trees, I'm floating sheesh, you must be foolish. Fed up with their rookie leaks, that man are too wet, the somehow talking. He's scared of police, he ran down the streets, boys back, did no hesitation. Say that I miss you, yo. So send a location, say that I miss you, I got no pictures if you do have got stages, I didn't play you. Love is famous for being worthless, it's perfect. I'm cold-hearted, established on toxic, worth it. I'm bursting, now when you want there's no string. I tap this bro, now man don't play me. Fed up with a cap, their stories are spacey. Stay where I am, what you are, you get me. I'm way never quit to get serious. I'm tropical, they need my mind for mysterious. Yo, yo. You know my name, darling. Calling me up, been barking. If you ever get loud, it's pardon. I only got loud now that they're starving. Them man on the streets, no need for CVs, but I'm telling you none of it's clueless. Way better than me, smoking buddy, I'm telling you none of it worth it. Saying that you're smoking trees, I'm floating sheesh, you must be foolish. Fed up with their rookie leaks, that man are too wet, the somehow talking. Scared of police and ran down the streets, boys back, did no hesitation. She must be dreaming, think that we feeling us still with a quick rotation. Stay 10 toes to your up, we swarming, you ain't never had a Grammy, I stop pouring. On my own lately, but touring, passionate lyrics, cause you know I'm transforming. Had a Mazda stash, you're a Mazda cap, and you know you can't keep up. He's a Mazda fact, you're a Mazda cat, and you waiting my time. Ringing my phone full time, but I don't wanna touch that girl, she fake. I need your time, and you got my rules and wise, and I know you're fake. I know you're fake, and I know the lies you told. I ain't no mug, but I was love struck, too bad that I was old. Yo, you know my name, darling. Calling me up, then barking. If you ever get loud, it's pardon. I only got loud now that they're starving. Them man on the streets, no need for CVs, but I'm telling you none of it's clueless. Way better than me, smoking buddy, I'm telling you none of it worth it. Saying that you're smoking trees, I'm floating sheesh, you must be foolish. Fed up with their rookie leaks, them man are too wet, but somehow talking. Scared of police and ran down the streets, boys back, did no hesitation. She must be dreaming, think that we feeling us work with a quick rotation. You know my name, darling. Calling me up, then barking. If you ever get loud, it's pardon. I only got loud now that they're starving. Them man on the streets, no need for CVs, but I'm telling you none of it's clueless. Way better than me, smoking buddy, I'm telling you none of it worth it. Saying that you're smoking trees, I'm floating sheesh, you must be foolish. Fed up with their bookie leaks, them man are too wet, but somehow talking. Scared of police and ran down the streets, boys back, did no hesitation. She must be dreaming, think that we feeling us worth with a quick rotation.
Brilliant, Lewis. Thank you very much. So I don't want to embarrass you, Lewis, but I mean, fantastic, age 15, to be able to come on the stage and do that. It's just absolutely awesome. Tribute to you and the skills that you've built up, some fantastic lyrics in there, and also to the work of Flash and the Street to Studio project. Right, we have earned ourselves a little more food and drink, and any other comforts to which you desire for 10 minutes. Go enjoy and come back swiftly.
Hi, I'm Harry Parsons and I'm the Senior Youth Support Worker for Midsummer Norton. So we've recently set up a number of new projects. One of those is out of the container at the skate park. We're also doing detached, so walking about the town, and we've got a couple of new clubs at the town hall. So we've got a games group and we've also got a more creative arts and craft group as well. I think my favourite thing about working for Youth Connect is that I can talk to anyone. I know that even though I've got my line manager and certain people that are kind of responsible for me, that actually it's almost like a family. I can talk to anyone about anything that I need help with and get different kind of expertise from different people. My youth work champion is probably Sam Plummer. He's been a big support to me, someone that has kind of constantly encouraged me to be a part of this and has given me loads of opportunities to do that and really helped me to develop within this role. So yeah, he's definitely my champion all round. So it was through Sam really. I'd been teaching and then decided that that wasn't quite giving me the chance to work with young people or support young people in the way that I wanted to. Came and met with Sam and yeah, kind of went from there. He gave me that opportunity, and as soon as I started doing it I realised that actually yeah, this was a much more hands-on environment, somewhere that I could work directly with young people that I really felt needed that support. Go for it. It's a great job. It's very taxing at times, but it is extremely rewarding. It's that classic, every day is different, you never know what you're going to face. Again, that's sometimes bad, but more often than not that's really good, working with some really, really interesting young people, really interesting agencies, and yeah, it's a really great job all round.
My name's Fab Smackfell and I am the Youth Work Team Leader for the Bath area. So I am the Senior Youth Support Worker at Southside Youth Hub, but in my team leader role I also manage the work in Fox Hill and the work on Bath City Centre. I also help to staff the participation project as well. Youth Connect, my favourite thing. I think it's the people. I love the people. We've suddenly become a really big service, and I think there's so many experienced, interesting staff about now. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, lots of lovely staff. I think it has to be a manager that I had when I was a part-time youth worker in Bristol. Her name is Mo, and basically she was the person that convinced me to go and do the youth work qualification at university. I think without Mo's input I probably wouldn't have done that. And probably stayed a part-time youth worker. So I think, yeah, with all her knowledge, the training she gave us, and the fact that she pushed me to go to university, she probably is my youth work champion. Okay, I got involved in youth work by volunteering in my local youth centre many years ago. I started volunteering mainly because a member of staff came up to me and basically said it would be really good as a senior member if you could help out at the youth centre. Things weren't good for me at the time, and I think really when I see what the youth work role is now, I think they were actually giving me something to fill my time. And I guess really youth work, I've continued from a volunteer to a paid part-time youth worker to going to university to being a manager in lots and lots of different projects over the years. And yeah, volunteering always a good way to get into youth work, I think. Do it. I like youth work, and I think if youth work was a job that was boring, I don't think I would have done it for as long as what I've actually been doing youth work for. It really does make an impact on young people's lives. So I would say anybody that's wishing to get into youth work, do it. It's an interesting job. It's not 9 to 5. There's ups and downs, but I have to say the ups outweigh the downs with the job. And like I said, you're doing a really important job, which is changing the lives of young people.
My name's Judy and I'm a senior youth support worker. I do a lot of detached youth work for the Bath and North East Somerset area. So I wander around and I chat to young people to make sure that they're happy, healthy, safe and well, and that any concerns they have are addressed. And I work in Bath City Centre and I work in Fox Hill and Combe Down, and I run, in Combe Down and Fox Hill area, I run a little youth project there for the young people there, which I love. I actually love that Youth Connect is really passionate about delivering really good youth work, and even when we're not perfect, we're fully honest about it in our meetings, and we're vulnerable with each other in the team, and we all push each other on, and we're all really supportive, and I really like that. It means that I'm safe and happy here. My youth work champion is Eileen, and she started a youth group for my area because something needed to be done, and she was brilliant, and she was probably the oldest youth worker I've known. She was retired when she started it. She was a retired nurse, but she was just fantastic. She organised us to go to McDonald's, which was like unheard of for us back then, and she just was so supportive and so kind and just so giving of her time, and I will never forget the impact that her just time and presence had on me. So I got involved in youth work when I was 16. I volunteered at my church as like a senior member sort of / intern type agreement with my then youth pastor. And so while I was doing college and my A-levels, I was also working and supporting a children's club that was run by the church locally and a youth club. And I actually felt that I just loved it. I loved being with young people. And then from then on, I carried on and kept going, and I'm still there and I love it. My advice to new youth workers would be to spend as much time with young people as possible, and to spend as much time when you're doing that listening to them and listening to their experience and just being a positive presence in their life.
Second half of our programme tonight. Let's go back to the awards. And I want to introduce winner 6, who's Alicia. Alicia's worked with engagement worker Louise to get support with her well-being and coping with family illness. She was able to move from a position of being overwhelmed and worried that she would have to give up her college place to accessing college services, completing her level 3 childcare qualification and getting her first job in a nursery setting. This is going to be a good story. Let's have the video.
Okay, so Alicia came to us towards the end of 2020. There was a history of bereavement, bullying and family breakdown, which was causing her a lot of anxiety. She was attending college, but she was finding it really difficult to concentrate and was missing a lot of days as a result. So she just felt like she needed some support with her anxiety and to be able to complete her college course and try and move on to work and training. Yeah, so obviously there was Alicia's ongoing anxiety, which at times made it difficult for her to engage, and yeah, so she would occasionally like miss a meeting or two. But actually, because we'd built up a good relationship, she was happy to kind of like text me and let me know if she couldn't make it, so that worked quite well. But that was still a big obstacle in terms of her attending college and getting her college work done. And she was also finding it very difficult with like the online learning aspect of college during the lockdown periods. So she needed some support with that. The other challenges were kind of family issues, so difficulties kind of within her relationships, but also at one point her mum had to go into hospital and was quite poorly, so that was a really difficult time for Alicia, and she actually felt like she needed to drop out of college at that point. So, but you know, she engaged really well with my support, and we together we kind of found a way through that, and I helped her to kind of talk to college, and you know, they were really supportive and obviously didn't want her to leave. So yeah, she just engaged really well with the support that was on offer, and that's why I think she deserves some recognition this year for what she's achieved. She managed to stay at college and complete her studies. So the reason I've nominated Alicia for a Young People's Award is because I think she's an amazing example of what young people can achieve when they have the right help and encouragement at the right time. I think Alicia engaged really well with the support that we offered her. She demonstrated a lot of resilience in the face of some really challenging situations, and ultimately she found her own way to like overcome those obstacles and succeed and achieve the goals that she'd already kind of set for herself, and I was just there to support her at those times when she needed it. So I just really admire her. I'm really glad that she was chosen for an award, and yeah, I'd just like to say well done, Alicia.
Brilliant, come on. Well done. Now we're going to hear a short film from Dina Romero, who is a cabinet member here on Bath and North East Somerset Council.
Good evening, everyone. My name's Dina Romero, and I am the Cabinet Member for Children, Young People, Communities and Culture at Bath and North East Somerset Council. I'm delighted to have been invited to this event tonight. I'm really sorry I couldn't be there with you. It sounds like you've all had a fantastic evening. And I'd like to add my congratulations to everybody who's won awards. It's really well deserved. I think it's important to think about what a difference working with young people makes. It's quite often an idea that young people exist just to make trouble for other people, which obviously and clearly is not the case. And sometimes it's just about putting young people back on track, and so that they can actually get as much from what they're doing and from their lives as anybody else. So, I think the work that Youth Connect is fantastic. I am very privileged because I have known Youth Connect before it became Youth Connect, when it was a service that the council ran back in the day. And I know Tracy and Sam and others will well remember those days. And I think you've just gone on, onwards and upwards, and I think the work you've done that's being celebrated tonight is an absolute credit to you and to everybody who works at Youth Connect. So well done, everybody. And as I said, I am sad that I can't be with you, but I'm definitely there in spirit.
And the memory of Dina's curtains will remain with us for longer than that. Lovely to hear from Dina there. Let's have our next award. This is a special award for senior members of Youth Work Sessions. It goes to Brad. Now, Brad can't be with us tonight, but I believe we have a film to show anyway.
So Brad's been attending Radstock Youth Club for a few years before my time, when we had some previous workers who were leading the sessions. And he's one of our most senior members that we've got that attends Radstock, and soon will be moving on. So Brad's been working with me since I took over at Radstock in July, and I've noticed a shift in the way that he interacts with youth workers, with his peers, and also the way that he supports on other youth work sessions run by Radical, which is the church group as well. Brad is always one of the first young people to offer a hand to set things up, and a prime example of this, and the reason why I've been nominating Brad for these awards, was that actually he'd jump in, he set up all the gazebos, he helped bring all the tables and chairs out. He's done lit picking in and around the churchyard, which has been really great, just to keep our sessions looking really professional, really clean. And then also with Brad, he stepped up more recently with actually trying to have that interaction with his peer group, and actually saying to them, guys, come on now, let's rein it in. So it's actually about him showing himself as a natural leader, and about him having that mutual respect from his peers when he's asked them to do stuff. And that's why I've nominated Brad for this award.
My name is Carrie Ford, and this is Brad Kingman, and Brad has won the Young People's Award for Senior Member at Youth Club.
So, I just want to start by saying I've been a member of this youth club for the past couple of years now, and I just want to say a massive thank you to all the youth workers like Kelly, Sam, Steph. And it's just a great place for young people to go to and just spend a bit of time.
How does it feel to win the award, Brad?
I'm over the moon with it, honestly. Can't think nothing better of it.
Well, we're steaming our way towards a tremendous finish, and possibly a little surprise for you to hang on for. But let's continue with our last award for the evening, which is the special award for Young Star Street Studio Award, which is going to Evie this year. Let's think about Evie for a second. She's been working with music youth worker Flash on the Street to Studio programme, and during her time she has developed her technique and vocal range, building on her natural talent as a singer. More than this though, Evie has grown in her confidence of her own abilities and performed for a range of audiences. She's been supported to set herself goals and aspirations and had the freedom to be herself. Isn't that lovely? So I think we've got a film of Evie. Let's have that.
So Evie came to Street to Studio to work on her confidence and self-esteem, but mainly to develop her singing skills. So Evie has sung all her life, and yeah, she came along to music. She wanted to work on her choice of songs. She wanted to develop her vocals, but there was also a part of her role about finding out more about herself and being able to go to a safe place and build her confidence that way. So I nominated Evie because she has just come on heaps and bounds, and she's going to big places now. When she first joined us, she was in a natural born talent with singing, but there is still work to be done with her vocals. There is still work to be done about her confidence and self-esteem, and there is still work to be done about finding out her identity as a singer. But through Street to Studio, she came along and was able to explore how far she can push herself, to be able to talk to Flash about general life experiences, and I've just seen her just grow into such a confident young lady. She just really blown everyone away when she sang at the High Sheriff party. She was featured on the Summer Valley radio station, and she was also featured on the Bath Life magazine. She is a superstar in the making, and she's getting better and better each time she sings. And I think within a year or two we'll be seeing her at least on The Voice or X Factor. So yeah, watch this space.
Evie, come up to the stage. Between the conversation with Flash. Well done, Evie. I'd now like to introduce to you this evening one of the trustees of Youth Connect Southwest, who's Adam Pitt. Adam, are you here? Well done, brilliant, come up.
So yeah, it's a very different view from up here. How weird. So I just wanted to say, well, I'll explain who I am a little bit. So I am one of the trustees of this charity. Again, I've known Tracy for a long time, Sam for a fairly long time, this organisation before it became this organisation. And I've got a lot of different hats on in some ways. That I am, part of Youth Connect. I'm part of the council out in Polton that now hires Youth Connect to come and work with all the young people, of which there are a lot out in Polton now. And then I'm also the vicar out there, sometimes then dealing with the fallout and the impact of what can go on in the world when people aren't getting this kind of support. So on behalf of the trustees, I just wanted to say how moving it was to hear all of these amazing stories of progress and of development and of triumph over adversity. I mean, starting the organisation, obviously you didn't know the pandemic was coming, but the last few years have been incredibly difficult. Yeah, the lockdown and COVID and pandemic served like a magnifying glass to just compound everything that was already going on in the world, all of the trouble and all of the trauma and all of the inequality. Yeah, it was a hard time to live through, I think, for everyone. I think life has a habit of getting hard and unpredictable, and if you don't feel like you fit in the world, if you don't know where you're supposed to turn for support. But actually what you see when you see these stories, when you see what Youth Connect are doing, is that there are people there who can walk with you. There are people there who can help to build that scaffolding back into your life. So I'm sure all of the trustees are incredibly proud to hear of all the work that has gone on. That actually with the right support, with the right connections, there is no one that needs to be left behind. There's no one that cannot begin to become who they're truly supposed to be. So it has been a real honour to see this organisation grow in spite of all of the challenges of the last few years. It is fantastic to be able to actually gather together in person and to celebrate all the achievements of these young people that have been awarded tonight. So I think I would like to say thanks to Tracy, and thanks to Sam, and thanks to all of the staff of Youth Connect, and congratulations to all of the winners and everybody that was nominated. Yeah, I often think about my job, if you can't see the dog collar from down there, my job is about dealing in hope. And I am just glad to have all of you in the world. It's going to make me cry now, it's too much. It's been a very emotional week. But actually just to have people in the world who you can share your experience, you can share this hope that you have now got in your lives. And as you go for the rest of your lives, you can go on and deal that hope to others. So I think let's just give a round of applause for everybody who is here tonight. It's just fantastic.
There's no one that needs to be left behind. What a fantastic ethos. Thank you so much, Adam. Good, inspirational words, and great to hear from the board of this fantastic organisation. Now, hopefully we've got a little surprise, yes, which may take us a couple of minutes to sort out. We're going to get an unscheduled... Oh, we're ready, even better. Then can I invite our young star, Evie, to the stage. She's going to sing for us.
It's 12 a.m. I'm losing sleep. I wonder, do you still think of me? It's been about a month and 2 weeks. Feels like I'm stuck in a bad dream. All my friends say I should let you go, but I know that's just not me. All the fighting and makeups and breakups, you're still on my mind. You're telling her all the things you used to say to me, like I love you, baby. You take her to our spot, you hold her, you show her all of the things you showed me. I'm crying 'cause I can't jokes, cause she's really not it. And all my friends say I should let you go, but I know that's just not it. Do you remember what we had, or has it faded into your memory? I wonder, should you really stay with her? 'Cause you're lost without me, telling her all the things you used to say to me, like I love you, baby. You take her to our spa, you hold her, you show her all of the things you showed me. I'm crying 'cause I can't let go. I don't wanna be alone. I needed you, but it's okay, it's alright, I got by. I guess it's just a teenage heartbreak. Oh, oh. I guess it's just a teenage heartbreak. Oh, oh, oh. I guess it's just a teenage heartbreak.
How about that? Thank you very much, Edie. I don't know about you guys, but I just had a strong sense that we're going to hear a lot more of this voice going forward. What an awesome thing that is. Great. Now, we have come to the end of our proceedings here, so thank you very much for coming along. Thank you for everybody who's put such an enormous effort into making tonight the celebration that it has been. We've had Flash at the back there doing his things, and Liam had put all the films together, and Julia is doing the live stream. Thank you guys. Sam leading the team. We've got George here and a number of the support workers. Millie, I think, is down there. Great to see you all. What a fantastic event. Now, and also thank you to Thomas Shepherd, who's the High Sheriff, who's come down here not to be on stage tonight, but to learn, and that's fantastic. So word is spreading about what's going on in these environments, and that is to be encouraged. Remember tonight, because this time next year will be an even bigger and even more splendid event. But we've got a year to think about that. Thank you so much, and good night.